in Canada because...
A boot! Not a boot. Sorry.
Welcome back to Trail Trash Garage. Today we're working on the DRZ400. Doing a few videos on that. We did the carb, oversized gas tank. Finally got my sit and fly installed. So I'll show you that real quick. I know some of you are kind of like, yeah, some people just think it's an ugly seat, but it makes such a big difference. And I'm, as you know from previous videos, I'm not a fan of that seat concept seat. Now, whether mine's just the low version, whatever it is, but the foam is very hard. It feels like a plank. I'm sure it probably is because of the low version. I'm going to assume the regular version's probably wonderful. Anyway, I ended up lowering the bike, as we mentioned last video, with some lowering links. Dropping the forks on the triple trees slightly. Putting some risers on so we had some clearance. So what am I doing today? Well, I'm trying to adjust a little bit of wind protection slash dash space. So I'll show you what we're doing. Sorry about the washed out lighting. It's coming through the windows and the sun's pretty bright today. It's still cold, but it's bright. So I'm just messing around at this point with some sort of a windshield. Now, I've kind of gone back and forth on a rally tower idea. I know Adventure Rally X makes one. They've worked with us in the past, but that was on a new project, something, you know, unique and different. So the tower they make for the DRZ, I mean, they've got DRZs and DR650s, so I'll probably be looking full price on something like that, and they're around $1,000 to do. I'm not going to spend that kind of money, and I'm not even sold on the fact that I want a rally tower on this bike. It goes over a lot in the woods, and I don't know. I may try to go a different direction. I'm going to rip an idea off another YouTuber, and I know if you give a shout out to somebody, you really should have their name, but it's somebody's Tinker Shop. I'll put the title and the link in the description. He basically made a extension for the existing headlight and the existing fairing, and basically it's just like a little compartment made out of a box of aluminum that he riveted together to kind of pull the dash out a little bit and then give him a little more space behind the dash to place electronics and stuff. And I may do something like that. I picked up a piece of aluminum aluminum plate for that, and then maybe we'll do something again with a bit of a windshield here. I cut it out the other day off camera because I don't know if I'm going to use it or not. It was a broken, scratched windscreen off another bike, but I may try to adapt it just to give me a little more poof up over my helmet. And then I've got another little lip I can add here, an angle if I need to. I might 3D print some things in here. Anyway, I was just trying with some different designs. I think there's a back plate here that'll go up underneath here, and then a trim plate that'll go on there and screw it to. But I don't know whether I'll use that or whether I'll wind up just drilling 3 holes or something like that. And instead of using like a brace plate like that, I'll do something else that just would stand, like normal screws and standoffs. I wasn't sure I wanted to do that where this, I wanted to set this at more of a steeper angle, and of course that's not going to go straight through and go straight through this. It would have to lay more parallel with it. So I may wind up going with that. I don't know. I just printed it in red because that was on the printer, but I could print in, you know, eventually I'll probably print in black. But I don't think that'll look too bad if I end up going with this method. So that's how the Cherubies or Acerbies or whatever however you want to pronounce it. Somebody's cringing right now. But basically that's how that looks. That's how the seat mates up. There's the sit and fly. Sit and fly. Now the other project I'm going to do before this gets taken off the stand, I kind of want to come up with something to add to these crash bars. They were never really intended by dirt racks to be luggage racks. They make luggage racks for the DRZ. But I got these because I didn't like the big square luggage racks. I'm never going to put hard panniers on this or anything. I found that when I was going away this summer on it, the soft pannier seemed to like ride here. And of course you can see there's lots of scuffing and scratches and stuff in the plastic. Not that I care about that, but also this loop back here is a little odd if the pannier was sitting here to come all the way back here and loop through. And I assume that's why these are here, is because they were intended luggage loops. But I may actually cut those off and weld them inside here like this. And where kind of like this one, I'll leave that one outside, but this one may actually move in here somewhere. And the other thing I kind of want to do to those bars is maybe add extra frame part, just to kind of like maybe coming up here and around here and then down, and maybe a cross member or something. I don't know. Maybe just something here to come up, just to kind of give me more mounting points, keep the luggage off the plastic. I don't know. I may try something. I don't know whether I'll bother filming that or not, because I'm just going to be putzing around. If I come up with something, I'll show you guys what I did. That's one of the reasons I bought these in raw steel, was because I knew that there was a chance I was going to want to modify them in the future, make them a little more applicable to me. So I didn't really want to be grinding off, pay extra for powder coat that I was going to grind off and then have to paint over with touch-up paint. I just use the trim clad, and if it rubs off, I spray another coat on it when I'm done messing with what I'm done messing with. So, hey, welcome back. It's the next day. Final design. Headlight goes in there. And of course, the windshield will be here. I've got most of my parts traced out. I can't fit everything on this one piece of aluminum, so I've got some scrap underneath there I'll use for the top plate for now. Stuff's fairly thick, so it should be pretty good. So, fresh blade, started cutting. Anyway, I'll put you guys up in the stand and let you watch. It's done. Well, this dash part anyway. I'm heading here, which I wasn't before, but I think when I added this side bracket, I think I'm hitting here now, so I'll put some rubber in there. Dino's Tinker Shed. That's the guy that I kind of got this inspiration from. So now a couple things I did differently. He put zip ties in here. The problem with putting, and these are just some concerns if you guys, somebody does this, is that this is flimsy plastic. If you mount this to this, it's going to vibrate quite a bit. Okay, and it's designed to, because down here where the headlight mounts is rubber mounted, right? So these engines are a little vibey at higher RPMs or high frequency vibe. Okay, but it's all if all you have is the headlight and this plastic, it's fine. Now I know a lot of guys in Australia, when they set these up for like the Simpson desert builds, they put this windscreen on, the famous garbage can plastic cutout windscreen, and they just Velcro it or rivet it or screw it to this. But now that we're out a bit and we've got all this extra mass, now it's all aluminum, it's lightweight stuff, but it's still, it was jiggly. And so Dino, when he test rode his, he zipper tied, like he had a great big windscreen that was bolted directly to the little fly screen here. And so it was jiggling, everything, and his GPS was jiggling up here, right? So basically what I did, I tied this. It does attach here at this attachment point. So that's a 3D printed spacer. It's double threaded. So it bolts in from the rear to hold it onto this. It just one small drilled hole, back of it, and then it bolts in from the front. There was an existing hole here in the windscreen from something, maybe this originally came off a cruiser. So I just plugged it with a little plastic plug for a 3D printed plug. These, once I cut the angle down, this was aluminum angle iron. It was a little side to side flimsy, so I just backed it up with these 3D printed parts to kind of trim it out. And I think it makes it look better. It gives it a bit of a plastic sponge, I guess. It's better than just the metal right on the acrylic. And then on the front, I use these bonded rubber washers underneath my stainless hardware. These will probably corrode in time, so I'll probably end up at some point taking them off and painting them black just to kind of give them some corrosion protection. But this ties this at 2 manning points directly to the tower, okay? And the other problem Dino had was the whole tower wiggling, right? Which his GPS would fall down and he had to change the mount system. So instead of just leaving it rubber mounted here, I've also tied up this bracket back here, and it bolts into one here, this top one here, and it comes back and it bolts into this rubber mounting for the dash. So this is still rubber mounted, so it's quite solid, but that's still rubber mounted. Now, over on the other side, however, because we've got our charging port here, which we can still, voltmeter charging port, which we can just simply easily access. I got a little cutout here for it. I know I'm kind of moving you around. I'm hoping I got the right angles. This bracket ties into the lower bolt, and it goes directly back, and there's 2 threaded holes in the upper triple tree casting, and I just tied into that. So that is not rubber mounted, that's solid mounted. So solid, rubber, rubber, rubber. But that gives it just enough rigidity that there's not going to be any vibration or buffeting. There'll be a little bit this way. And because of the nature of these towers that use flat plate aluminum to bolt to something, a side impact will bend it, but it should very easily bend back. So if you get a side impact here, it may bend that, but it's going to be able to bend, it's going to bend back. Plus, these are rubber mounted, right? So you got rubber mounts here, but this is on a bracket system that's rubber mounted here and here around the fork tube. So there is some give here too, right? Which is another benefit, I guess, of this over the tower that bolts into the frame somewhere. Yeah, so probably that's enough jabbering on that, but that's done for now. I'm happy with that. Now we'll see what kind of wind turbulence I get off this. If I get too much turbulence, I'm going to have to do something else, like angle it up or whatever. I do have an extra piece of windscreen that I was able to salvage from this broken cruiser windscreen. And I could do some mounts up here and then have one of those, I forget which company makes them, but the little spoilers, angled spoilers. We have that option too. This is a look at what this is going to look at from the cockpit. Lots of room here. I got a little Samsung Galaxy Tab A7, which really should fit there nicely. And I think it's old, but it's not old to the point where I think it'll still run MacBooks okay. And any older tablet, it's really difficult to find waterproof cases on Amazon for some of these older tablets. I was looking, Colin loaned me his iPod Air Generation 1. And do you think I could find a pre-done waterproof case for that? Yeah. So we're probably going to end up designing something in 3D printing. So we're going to be wiring this directly into the power. But it's coming up with a case that's not going to allow any water getting around any of the charging, any ports. So it's probably going to require a 2-piece printed case sandwiched together with some RTV of some sort to seal, or maybe I can come up with a rubber gasket to seal around the screen. I don't know. We'll find out. That's another project for another video. I know we're in Canada because
a boot. Not a boot. Sorry.